Let's start. Strategies to cope with transition from home to school. The major transition point in a child's with autism spectrum disorder life is from home to school. This transition can be effective and successful with the team effort of teachers, parents, school personnel, or support services, therapists, and other rehabilitation professionals. Transition strategies attempt to increase predictability for individuals on the autism spectrum disorder and to create positive routines around transitions. They are utilized across settings to support individuals with autism spectrum disorder. There is evidence to suggest that children who have a positive start to school are likely to engage well and experience academic and social success. Visual supports are used to aid children with autism spectrum disorder to maintain attention, understand spoken language, sequence, organize their environments. Hodgdon visual supports as tools used to compensate for difficulties in attention, auditory processing, sequencing, and organization. It suggests the need for visual supports for students with autism spectrum disorder, including assisting them with social interaction, organization, and communication problems.
Examples of strategies used by children with autism spectrum disorder can be
Visual schedules are an important component of teach program or structured teaching. Visual schedules provide the child with a plan for the day. Visual schedules allow individuals to view an upcoming activity, have a better understanding of the sequence of activities that will occur, and increase overall predictability. The main purpose of schedules are to help the student with autism spectrum disorder to transition from one activity to another, provide predictability, and so reduce anxiety. It makes learning easier for most children. Advantages of using schedule. Structures nummer. Time is an abstract concept. Therefore, schedule provides a visual sequence of activities, provides predictability. Due to the difficulty in communication and abstract thinking, individuals with ASD may not be able to predict what is to happen or ask what he/she to do. Enhances flexibility, helps the student accept change and reduce rigidity. A visual schedule provides clarity. Transitioning. Schedules helps the student in transitioning from activity to activity and from area to area, develops independence. The kind of schedule to be used varies from person to person and can change over time. A classroom timetable can be of a great help, but some children need individual schedule on the table or somewhere the child can access it. A daily schedule should not be the same. Every day it should include changes that happen in the natural routine of the school. Photo cues may be used with young individuals with ASD during transitions from the playground to inside the classroom, allowed him to see where he was expected to go and provided additional predictability in his/her day. The cue can be kept in a box that indicates to the individual that he/she has arrived at the correct place. First, then, visual supports. These can also be used where the schedule is further broken down. A first, then chart is a way of showing a child that they must complete the task at hand before moving on to their preferred activity. Physically structured classroom. It provides organization for students with ASD and helps all staff. Students understand what activities are occurring in each area of classroom at any given time. For example, the circle time on the mat, academics on the table. For kids who walk around the class, marking the chair with child's name or picture helps in better understanding. Prior. Planning. Reduce the number of transitions. Plan the child's day to reduce the number of transitions as much as possible. Be clear on how long the activity will last. A transition always includes a starting and a finishing point. By clearly defining that ending point helps the child feel some control over their environment. Providing a transition object. Carrying a transition object can lessen stress during the transition. If the child is finding it difficult at school, he can choose something to bring from home, which they carry with them throughout the day. Prepare ahead of time and don't rush. Do not rush the child. Give them transition warnings using verbal and visual supports, and then lots of time to process and come to the transition when they are ready. Increase consistency and predictability. From daily routines to ending an activity, keep it as consistent as possible. The consistency and predictability will lessen the stress during the transitions. Predictability can be increased using visual timers or visual countdowns. It allows an individual to see how much time is remaining in an activity. Prior familiarization. Predictability can also be improved by arranging for the child to visit school and meet teacher and other personnel prior to first day of school. Familiarize the student with school routines such as going through the cafeteria line, waiting for the school bus, and following rules when walking in the hallways. Social stories. A concept developed by Carol Gray gives short descriptions of a particular situation, event, or activity, which includes specific information about what to expect in that situation and why. Could help the child know what to expect in the new school. It's helpful to introduce and practice new concepts in a non-threatening way. Social stories can be done about starting school or a visual storybook with photos of the school, classroom, and new teacher. This can help the child understand what to expect and understand the perspective of others. Consider preferred activities. When creating the child's schedule strongly, it is better to consider the activities that the child loves and those activities they don't much care for. If possible, when designing the child's routine attempt should be to move in a pattern of non-preferred activities to preferred activities to neutral activities, and neutral activities to non-preferred activities. Behavioral intervention. Different behavioral intervention techniques are used like applied behavior analysis, ABA, verbal behavior analysis, VBA, to improve social interactions, learn new skills, maintain positive behaviors. They also helps transfer learned skills and behavior from one situation to another situation, controlling situations where negative behaviors arise and minimizing negative behaviors. develops skills of the child with autism. Spectrum disorder. Developing skills in the child helps develop independence and confidence. Lack of skills can also lead to transition difficulties. Offer a break. Build in short breaks throughout the child's day to support their regulatory needs, movement, water, and others. Addressing their sensory and emotional needs will lessen stress during transitions. Use redirection. Use the child's affinity to engage them just before a transition. This offers redirection away from the anxiety and stress of the transition, focusing instead on something enjoyable. Reinforce the child. The child can be offered rewards following an activity to help with the transition. The focus is redirected during the stress of a transition, and it also helps create positive emotional memories around transitions. The child can be praised for coping with the change and adapting to a new routine. Minimize waiting. The waiting time between activities can be reduced as much as possible, as it helps in better efficiency of time, as well as the child is better oriented to the activities. Identify a go-to person. It's easier for the child to have a go-to person identified at school. Give the child a help card. This is a visual reminder to ask an adult for help. A help card makes the child feel less stressed and anxious. Work as a team. Using a communication book or sharing information with the child's class teacher establishes the link between school and home. This can help to highlight a potential problem or solve any problems quickly. Information sharing with school about the child's needs, likes, dislikes, capabilities, difficulties, and what causes them. Anxiety will make a positive difference. Parents should always be consulted and kept informed of the action taken to help their child and of the outcome of this action.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar. This was wonderful. I wish we will meet soon with more information.
My pleasure. Definitely we will meet soon.